Good afternoon or good morning, Tigers. This is my first video of the 2017-2018 school year, so I'm really excited about this. Unfortunately, you know that I've been sick over the last couple of days, so you're going to have to be patient with me if I sneeze or if I cough. I will try to cough away from the iPad, okay? So you should have taken notes on Monday if you were at school on the absolute value. If you don't already have your math notebook out, make sure you have your math notebook out. It should be page 5 or page 6 of your math notebooks. I want you to annotate as you follow along. You should have wrote down this definition. The absolute value, so that is one of our key terms. So the absolute value of a number is its distance from 0 on the number line. Okay, so let's repeat that. Go ahead and close read it with me. The absolute of a is its distance from on the number. Okay, I will repeat it one more time. The absolute value of a number is its distance from 0 on the number line. The way you represent absolute value is this symbol right here. It's just two straight lines. I'm going to write the letter N to represent number. So any number inside the absolute value is just that number and the distance it is from 0. So if you have the absolute value of a negative number, you're just giving me the core value of it. It's still just that number without the negative. Miss Molina, what are you talking about? Okay, let me explain a little bit more. Let's say you're given an example like the absolute value of 2. You would draw a number line, plot the number 2, and now you're going to try to figure out how far 2 is away from 0. Let's count. 1, 2. So how many units is 2 away from 0? 2. Now let's say you were given the absolute value of negative 2. What is the absolute value of negative 2? You would draw a number line again. So let's draw a number line. This time you would plot negative 2 and see how far away that is from 0. Sorry, my 2 is not that pretty. Okay, well, let's count. I'm going to put a tick right here so we can know that this represents 1. Come on. There we go. Okay, let me draw my little loops. Okay, so how many units is negative 2 away from 0? So 1, 2. We're not counting negative 1, negative 2. We're just counting the unit distance between negative 2 and 0. So that's 1. So that's 1, 2. So now I would write in a different color. Let me write it in a different color. The absolute value of negative 2 is equal to 2. Let me give you 2 more examples. Let's say you're given an example that you already wrote in your paper. You should have already written it. The absolute value of negative 1.4. So you would draw a number line, plot negative 1.4, plot your 0, and see how many units away $1.40 or negative $1.40 is from 0. Is it just 1? No. It's 1.4. So there's 1.4. And the distance is just asking for the absolute total value. Okay? So the last example that it gave you was the absolute value of 3 halves and the absolute value of negative 3 halves. Some of you are really fast at this already. How far away is 3 halves away from 0? So if you were to plot this, that's like 1.5. So you could have negative 3 halves right here. So I'm plotting this over here. And 3 halves like over here. And then we have 1, negative 1, and then 0. If you work this out, 2 divided into 3 is 1. subtract the 1, bring the decimal. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So that's how I know it's 1.5. I converted the fraction into a decimal. That's how I know. Quickly. Okay, so what's the distance of negative 3.5 from 0? Let's count. That's half of a unit, and then this is 1 full unit. So this is 0.5, and this is 1. So what's the distance? 3 halves or 1.5 is fine. Oh, look, I made a mistake. I solved this one first. But aren't these the same thing? Aren't these both 3 halves away from 0? Aren't they both positive? Because we're just asking for the absolute core value. We're not asking for the direction. We're asking for the value. So they're both equal to 3 halves. That's why on your notes, you see that the absolute value of both of them is 3 halves.